Welcome student. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic in solution, that is want of factor. It is very important and useful in calculation of colligative properties. So first we will introduce what is want of factor. We discuss later, but we just try to show the importance of want of factor. Here see, we are taking an example. Here we will take NaCl. This is the common salt that we are taking, NaCl. Let we have taken 58.5 gram of NaCl in this watch glass, and here we have two cases. Here we have taken NaCl in the watch glass, and in the second case we are dissolving this NaCl in beaker where we have taken water. Water is a solvent, dissolving same amount of NaCl in water. Now what will happen when NaCl will be dissolved? It will dissociate. Since it is a it is a salt, so it 100% dissociation will take place. So it will dissociate completely to form Na positive and Cl negative ions. Now in the first case, you see, for this case, this is, I am writing first case, and here we are writing second case. Now for the first case, see the calculate the number of moles. Here see, number of moles is what, 58.5. so number of moles is easily calculated. Number of moles is equal to weight in gram by molar mass. So we can write this here. So number of moles is what, 58.5 by 58.5, this is 1. So for this case, number of moles is 1. So we can also write this molar mass. We can also write this equation as molar mass is equal to weight in gram by number of moles. So in this case, when we calculate, we will find that, again we are putting the value 58.5 by, here number of mole is 1, so this is again 58.5 gram per mole. It means, here you see, we have calculated. Why we are going to calculate again, you will understand soon. Now you see the second case. In the second case, what we have done, that we have dissolved salt in water. Now in this case, you know that what is the molar mass of NaCl? We have already calculated that molar mass of NaCl is 58.5. Why? Because weight in gram is 58.5 and it is divided by 1 mole, number of moles. So this is molar mass of the NaCl. But what will happen? Is there any change when we dissolve this salt in water? What will happen? Here 100% dissociation is taking place. 100% dissociation will take place. So if 1 mole of NaCl will be there, it will produce 1 mole of Na positive and 1 mole of Cl negative. Now in this case, if you want to calculate again molar mass of the NaCl, here is simple. You see weight in gram, you know it is the same 58.5 weight in gram, and now we are using this formula weight in gram by number of moles, because weight in gram we know and number of moles, new number of moles are there. We have dissolved 1 mole NaCl, but now number of particles are greater. Number of moles of particles, initially it is one type of particle is 1 mole, but when it is dissolved in water it produces 2 kind of particle. So their number of mole is again 1 mole plus 1 mole, that is 2 mole. Now number of moles, so weight in gram is 58.5 divided by number of moles is what? 1 plus 1, 2. It means it is, sorry, here 58.5, it will be 58.5, by mistake I have written 58.2. So again when we divide it we will get 29.25 gram per mole. But you are thinking that molar mass of salt will not change. We are calculating the molar mass with the help of the formula. The molar mass of NaCl, the true value is 58.5. If we calculate with the help of formula 23, like 23 plus 35.5, so the true value or the normal molar mass of NaCl is 58.5. But when it is dissolved in water, there is abnormality in molar mass. Now listen, this is called observed molar mass or abnormal molar mass. 58.5, if we calculate 58.5, this is the molar mass of NaCl by using the value atomic mass of Na and atomic mass of Cl, we will add, we will get this. But here you see in solution it behaves that its molar mass is 29.25. So this is abnormality in molar mass. And why this abnormality is appeared here? It is due to the number of particles which has changed due to dissociation. It affected the behavior of the salt or behavior of the solute in the solution, and observed molar mass, here you see, decreased. So want of factor, here in case of NaCl you have seen dissociation is taking place. But when we dissolve acetic acid in benzene, where 2 moles of acetic acid or 2 molecules of acetic acid associate to give a single molecule, so in that case association will be there, means 2 moles of acetic acid going to convert into 1 mole. So number of particles will be, or number of moles of particles will be less, but here number of particles is more. So it affected the molar mass, and there also molar mass will be affected. To introduce these things, or to extend the extent of dissociation, the extent of dissociation and association is explained by a factor introduced by Van 't Hoff, known as Van 't Hoff's factor. So we will see I. I is what? Van 't Hoff factor, and this factor will explain the effect, or explain the extent of dissociation or association. So first we calculate Van 't Hoff. We must know the calculation of Van 't Hoff factor. Now here you see how the number of particles affect the affect the molar mass, as well as affect the colligative properties. In this case, you see I is equal to number of moles of particles after dissociation or association divided by number of moles of particles before dissociation or association. So here one thing is very important. For the non-electrolyte solute like urea, sucrose, these or glucose, these are the solute. When dissolved in water, it will not dissociate or associate. It will not dissociate or associate. If so, for such type of solute, the number of particles after dissociation will be same, or after dissociation or association will be same than that of the number of particles before dissociation or association. So for that type of solute like sugar, glucose, sucrose, the value of the number of particles will not change after dissolution. So for that the value of I will be 1. We will calculate further, but just I am explaining it. So for them, normal molar mass and abnormal, there will be no abnormality in molar mass, means normal molar mass will be same. Molar mass calculated or observed, both will be same for glucose, urea, sucrose, such type of solute which are not going to dissociate or associate when dissolved in the solution. But if any solute is dissociating or associating, if dissociating, then number of particles will be more, number of moles of particles will be more. So if dissociating, the number of particles will be increase, number of moles of particles will be increased. And here you see the abnormal molar mass is inversely related. Inversely related, here it is in numerator, and here you see abnormal molar mass in denominator. It is inversely related, means if the number of particles will increase after dissociation, then the abnormality in molar mass will be less, means molar mass will be less than that the true or normal molar mass. But it is but the observed colligative property is directly proportional to the number of particles. If it is increasing, then observed colligative property will also increase. Abnormal molar mass decrease, but observed colligative property will increase than that of the calculated colligative property. Means colligative property when we are expecting that the solute is neither dissociating or associating. If during association, the number of particles will be less than that of than that of the initial. So in this case, when number of particles will less, then abnormality in molar mass will be more, means abnormal molar mass will be more than that of the normal molar mass, and observed colligative property will be less because it is directly related, directly proportional, and here this is inversely proportional. So we can write here, thus here you see colligative property is directly proportional to the number of moles of particles in the solution, means in the solution if number of particles will increase, like in case of dissociation, and in case of association it is decreasing. So if it changes from the expected means if you are expecting that solute is not going to dissociate or associate, so that is the expected. If it increase or decrease, it will affect the colligative properties, it is directly related. But molar mass means here we are saying about the abnormality which is observed in molar mass. If abnormality is more, if molar mass will increase, if molar mass will increase, the colligative property will decrease. What are colligative properties? Like relative lowering in vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure. All these colligative property will be affected by the number of moles of particles in the solution and the molar mass in this way. In this video we are going to calculate the Van 't Hoff factor for dissociation. For example, we are taking NaCl. Here NaCl dissociate 100%. We are taking here that 100% dissociation is taking place. It means alpha you know, alpha is degree of dissociation. Here alpha is equal to degree of dissociation. Here alpha is 100%, it means 100% dissociation is taking place. So you also observe about the degree of dissociation. If alpha is 100%, 100% means 100 by 100, that is 1. So alpha is 100%, it means the value of alpha is 1. 1 means if we are taking 1 mole of solute, then it dissociates into its ions completely. 1 mole will completely dissociated. So here 100% dissociation is there, so it will produce Na positive plus Cl negative. So initial or before dissociation, if you are taking, here you see, before dissociation, let the number of mole of, here we are taking 1 mole. So what would be the number of moles of Na positive and Cl negative? It will be 0 before dissociation. But when we dissolve NaCl in water, since 100% dissociation is there, it means all the units, formula units of NaCl get dissociated. So here 0 will be there. Or you can put 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1. Here 100% dissociation, 1 minus 1, that is 0 is left, and 1 mole of Na positive and 1 mole of Cl negative will be formed. Therefore, we can calculate the value of I, Van 't Hoff factor I. Here for I is number of moles of particle dissociated divided by number of particles before dissociation. So what is the number of particles dissociated after dissociation? 1 plus 1, that is 2, and number of particles before dissociation is 1, so it is 2 by 1, that is 2. So here we have calculated for NaCl. For other salt like if K2SO4 is there, K2SO4, it is another salt. Again, we are assuming that the alpha is 100%. It means it will produce 2K positive plus SO4 2 negative. Here again we can write here 1 mole of K2SO4 before dissociation and after dissociation 0, and after dissociation 0 mole of K2SO4 will be there, and here 2 moles of 2 moles of K positive and 1 mole of SO4 negative is formed. So here simply you can write I is equal to, what would be the value here, 2 moles plus 1 mole. Here see the stoichiometric coefficient, 2 mole plus 1 mole, 2 plus 1 3. This is the number of moles after dissociation, and 1 stoichiometric coefficient here 1, number of moles before dissociation. So here 2 plus 1, that is 3 by 1, that is 3. So we can calculate here for K2SO4. Here you see for strong acid HCl, again the degree of dissociation is 100%. It means it produces 1 mole of HCl dissociate to give 1 mole of H positive ion and 1 mole of Cl negative ion. So I will be 1 plus 1, 2 by the number of moles before dissociation. So 2 by 1, that is 2. Similarly we can calculate here for H2SO4. What would be the value of I? 2 plus 1 3 by 1. In all the cases the 100% dissociation is there. So 3 by 1, that is 3. In case of this is a base, strong base, here also the dissociation is 100%. So in this case the value of I is equal to 1 plus 1 2 by 1, that is 2. So in this way we can calculate the Van 't Hoff factor for acids, bases and salt. But in here in all the cases you have seen that the alpha is degree of dissociation is 100%. But if degree of dissociation is 60%, then it will be it is difficult to calculate the value of I in this way. So like if alpha is 60%, what is the meaning of 60%? First you understand, it is 60 by 100, that is 0.6. So 0.6 means if we take 1 mole of the solute, 0.6 fraction of that mole will undergo dissociation. So in this way it will be complicated or difficult or to calculate the Van 't Hoff factor. So we will make a formula that will be easy for the calculation of Van 't Hoff factor. For that we are taking here, see, let n is what the number of atoms of A in this unit. When it undergo dissociation, let alpha is the degree of dissociation. Here alpha is not known, it is 100% or 60% or 30%. Alpha is the degree of dissociation. It means out of 1 alpha unit is alpha is going to dissociate only. So here you see An dissociate to give Na. Here n is the stoichiometric coefficient. It may be A plus A plus A plus A to n. So we are writing here Na. So before dissociation the number of particles of N is 1. After dissociation, so after dissociation here 100% dissociation is not there. 100% dissociation is not there. It means out of 1 alpha is going to dissociate. So what is left number of moles of An is 1 minus alpha. and here when alpha is going to dissociate, then it will form n alpha. N alpha means if a plus a, in this way will be there, alpha plus alpha, alpha will be dissociated, alpha will be formed. Here is stoichiometric coefficient. As per the stoichiometric coefficient, we will write here 1, 1 alpha, 1, 1 alpha. And what is the stoichiometric coefficient? N. So n alpha will be formed after dissociation. Now total number of moles, therefore we can calculate I, total number of moles after dissociation. So after dissociation, some moles of reactant is left. It is 1 minus alpha, and this is the number of moles formed after dissociation. This is n alpha divided by the initial number of moles. It is 1. It is 1. So here we can write 1 plus n alpha minus alpha. Therefore I is equal to 1 plus n minus 1 into alpha. So we can get this formula. We can use this formula for NaCl. You know that let NaCl, in case of NaCl, alpha is equal to 100%. 100% means its value is 1. Alpha is equal to 1. So in this case, we are going to produce, we are going to calculate the value of I with the help of this formula. So I is equal to 1 plus, now what is n? N is the, here you can write, n is the number of moles of particles dissociated per mole, of the, per mole. Here see, number of moles of particles dissociated per mole means we initially we have taken 1 mole. Here you see, in case of NaCl, 1 mole of NaCl is dissociated to give 2 moles. So here for n we are writing 2 minus 1 into alpha. Alpha is what? 100%. What is the value of alpha? 1. So it is 1. Therefore 1 plus 2 minus 1, 1, and its value will be 2. Earlier we have calculated the when alpha, degree of ionization or degree of dissociation is 100%. For NaCl we have already calculated, it is 2. So with this formula we can also calculate, and it will be useful mainly when alpha is less than 100, that is if alpha is 50%. So it will be easy here to put the value of alpha 0.5, 0.5, then it will be easy. If such type of degree of dissociation will be there, then it will be easy to calculate the value of I with the help of this formula. From this above formula, we can calculate the value of degree of dissociation or association, as mainly here degree of dissociation. What is I? I is the want of factor. If want of factor is known and n is also known, n is number of moles of particle dissociated per mole. If it is known, then we can calculate the value of alpha by using this formula. Alpha is equal to I minus 1 by n minus 1. So this formula is given in the book also. So with the help of this formula, we can calculate the value of alpha if you know the want of factor, and n is the number of N can be calculated by observing the formula. Here you see NaCl, it produces 1 plus 1. So from there, here we can see the stoichiometric coefficient of the product and add it, we will calculate the value of N. Now in this video we will observe the effect of I on normal molar mass or abnormal molar mass, and also on the observed colligative property. For dissociation we have seen that I is greater than 1, means I means greater than 1. So for this case we can write, it means the number of moles of particles dissociated must be greater than that of the particle taken in initial, which is 1. We know that I is equal to, since I is greater than 1, so we can write I is equal to, what is I? We are observing the effect of I on abnormal molar mass or abnormality in molar mass. Normal molar mass you know that I is equal to normal molar mass divided by abnormal molar mass. It is greater than 1. So we can write normal molar mass greater than abnormal molar mass. It means, you see, during dissociation when I is greater than 1, the abnormal molar mass means molar mass of the solute observed is less than that of the normal molar mass, is less. And what would be the effect on the colligative properties? You know that colligative property is inversely related to the molar mass. Normal molar mass gives calculated molar mass, and abnormal molar mass will give observed, here you see, normal molar mass will give calculated colligative property. Calculated colligative properties means elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, all this. This will be calculated on the basis of normal molar mass, and abnormal molar mass gives the observed colligative property. You know that colligative properties are related to the molar mass. In this case, abnormal molar mass is decreasing than the normal molar mass, and molar mass is inversely related to the colligative property. Since abnormal molar mass is decreasing, hence observed colligative property will be more than that of the calculated colligative property. So they are inversely related. Calculated is inversely related to normal. Normal molar mass is increasing, then is more than that of abnormal. Hence the calculated colligative property will be less. It is more, so it is less than that the observed colligative property. So in this way, you can see that during dissociation, I is greater than 1, abnormal molar mass is less than normal molar mass or true molar mass, and observed colligative property is greater than the calculated colligative property. So we can apply the concept on an example. Here you see we have two solutions. Here the concentration of this solution is 0.01 m. This is glucose solution, and it is 0.01 m MgCl2 solution. Now you know that glucose will not dissociate, neither dissociate nor associate. It means if we are taking 1 mole of glucose, we are taking 1 mole of glucose, it remains same. It will not dissociate. It will not dissociate. So for such cases, I will be equal to 1. If we expect that MgCl2 is also not going to dissociate, then I will be equal to 1. So in that case, the calculated colligative property will be same for both. But we know that in case of MgCl2, the value of I is what? You observe it. MgCl2 dissociate to give Mg2 positive plus 2Cl negative. Now you observe the means number of moles after dissociation we get dissociated per mole is 1 plus 2 3. So what is the formula of I? I is equal to 1 plus n minus 1 into alpha. Here MgCl2 is salt, so we consider alpha is 100%. Alpha is 100%, that is alpha is equal to 1. So when we will put the formula 1 plus and here 3, 1 plus 2, 3 minus 1 into 1. So it is 1 plus 2, that is 3. So this is the with the help of formula, or simply you can count here, because 100% dissociation is there. If percentage dissociation is not given for a salt, we will write 100%. 2 plus 1 3 divided by total number of moles of particles divided by the total number of moles. Initially we have taken 1, 3 by 1 it is 3. So with the help of formula it is 3. Now here you see, when I is equal to 1 and here I is equal to 3, and if we are going to calculate the depression in freezing point, so it is delta Tf is equal to I into Kf into m. Here m indicates molality, and we have taken the concentration in molarity. So if we convert molarity into molality, then we can put the value. In both the cases same concentration will be obtained, and Kf will be same for each case because it depends upon the solvent, and solvent in both the cases solvent is water. In water, solvent is water. In both the cases, so Kf is same, concentration is same. For glucose, the value of delta Tf, that is depression in freezing point, for glucose it will be I is equal to 1, so it will be equal to Kf into m. This is for glucose. But for MgCl2, if you will write, then delta Tf will be equal to 3 into Kf into m. It means it is 3 times, the colligative property is 3 times to that of glucose. Why 3 times? Because I is changing, that is the want of factor decides the colligative property. Here you see, molar mass will decrease. Abnormal molar mass means abnormal molar mass, that is the molar mass which is observed will decrease than the true value, but the observed colligative property will increase. So in this way you can compare. And so now we will go for association. What happened? What would be the value of I during association, and what would be the formula? Now we calculate the Van 't Hoff factor for association. So we know about the acid. Here we are taking acetic acid. Acetic acid dissociates in water, but associates in benzene to form a dimer. So what do you mean by dimer? It means two molecules of acetic acid. Two molecules of acetic acid. When acetic acid is taken in benzene, then it dimerize. It means it make a bigger molecule consisting two molecules of acetic acid. In this way, here you see two molecules of acetic acid dimerize. This is CH3COO, and this is again the other unit of CH3COOH. Here hydrogen bonding will form between O of one acetic acid molecule and H of other acetic acid. This is H bonding, and due to this H bonding or hydrogen bonding, here one more hydrogen bonding is there. Two molecules of acetic acid form a bigger molecule. So we can show it in this way: CH3COOH whole twice. So since it contains two molecules, so it is called dimer. It is called dimer, and this process is called dimerization. So here you see we have taken two molecules, two different molecules. It dimerized to give a single molecule. So number of molecules here 2, but here number of molecule is 1. So decreases. This takes place in association. Here what? Two molecules associated to give single molecule. So if we can formulate with the help of this concept, like if two molecules are there, 2A, and it dimerized to give A2, like CH3COH 2 and CH3COH whole twice. Like that, if three molecules of A is there, and if trimer will form, trimer means three molecules unite to give a single molecule, like, and let this is A3. If n molecules are there, n molecules of A, it polymerize. Now number of molecules is more than 3 4, then the process is called polymerization. So it polymerize to give A to the power A n. Now for this we have to calculate the value of I. Here you see, if the number of molecules are A, it converted into 1. But if the number of molecules will be 1, it will be associated to give 1 by n. Understand it? Because this will help you to calculate the value of I. Here 1 by n is the 1 by n is the what? The number of moles of particles associated per mole. So we will use it in to calculate the Van 't Hoff factor. Here you see, for dissociation we have the formula of Van 't Hoff factor. It is I is equal to 1 plus n minus 1 alpha, n minus 1 alpha. So here n is what? Number of moles of particle dissociated per mole, means 1 mole dissociate to give how much moles of the product molecules or product units, and alpha is the degree of dissociation. This is for dissociation. So for association we have to write the formula for association in similar manner. we will write the formula I is equal to 1 is the number of molecules, number of moles before association, this is 1, plus here n is number of moles of particle dissociated per mole. But in association, what is the number of moles associated per mole? For 1 mole it is 1 by n is associated. So in place of n we will write here 1 by n, 1 by n, and n will be, how can we know the value of n? N we will get from here, the stoichiometric coefficient of the reactant. So 1 by n, so 1 by n is the number of moles of particle associated per mole, minus 1 into alpha. In place of alpha you can write beta also, so it will distinguish and do not confuse you. Or you can write alpha. So I am using beta for just distinguishing. Here 1 by n is what? So here you see 1 by n, number of moles of particles associated per mole, and beta is degree of association, and the value of beta is calculated as we are calculating alpha. So now we will relate the normal molar mass and abnormal molar mass on the basis of the value of I. But what we observe here, in association, the number of associated, here you see, in association the value of I will be less than 1, will be less than 1. Now with the help of example we can show that the value of I in case of association is always less than 1. So we have one example in the above. Now we are going to calculate the value of I. Here we have, see, we are going to calculate the value of I for this association reaction. Here two molecules of CH3COH undergo dimerization, it form a dimer. Here let beta is the degree of association, and it is let 100%. We just assume that 100% association is there. It means if two molecules of CH3COH will be there, it will form a dimer in this case. So we have the formula to calculate the Van 't Hoff factor. I is equal to 1 plus 1 by n. 1 by n is the number of moles of particles associated per mole, minus 1 into beta. Beta is the degree of association. So here we put the value 1 plus, now what is n? N is the number of particles, which is going to be associated. Here two molecules or 2 moles of acetic acid is undergo association, so this is 2. From reactant side we will get the value of n. 1 by 2 minus 1 into beta. Beta is 100%. 100% means 1. 100 by 100, that is 1. And the value of I we can calculate here, 0.5 minus 1, and it is 1, and here you see minus sign will come, 0.5. So value will be 0.5. So it is less than, here for association process we got the value of I and it is less than 1. It is less than 1. It means for association process, the value of I, the want of factor, is always less than 1. And for dissociation, it is greater than 1. But for association, it is less than 1. Thus, the value of I is always less than 1 for association process. Now you know that the I is equal to normal molar mass by abnormal molar mass. So if we put the value of I, this will get, and it is less than 1. So for association, here you see, so this is the value of I is equal to normal molar mass divided by abnormal molar mass, which is less than 1. So abnormal molar mass you just send this side. So normal molar mass is less than abnormal molar mass. It means during association or in association process, abnormal molar mass is more than that of the normal or the true value, true molar mass. So you know that colligative properties depends upon this. So how it is related? You know that it is inversely related to colligative properties. This calculated colligative property depends on normal molar mass, while the observed colligative property depends on abnormal molar mass. So it is inversely related. So here abnormal molar mass will increase during association. That's why the observed colligative properties will be less than the calculated colligative properties, because greater the abnormality in molar mass, less will be the observed colligative property. In this way we can see the effect of I on normal molar mass and the colligative properties. Now here is we calculate the want of factor I for non-electrolyte. Non-electrolyte means in this category we keep the solute which do not dissociate, either dissociate or associate when solution is formed. For example, the non-electrolytes are sugar, glucose, sucrose, urea. So these are the non-electrolyte. When it is dissolved in water, it will not dissociate. Its initial means number of moles will not, means total number of moles will not change. And in this case, the alpha is degree of dissociation or association is 0. So therefore I will be, the formula is what, 1 plus n minus 1 into alpha, and alpha is 0. So this part is 0, that is I is equal to 1. For non-electrolyte, the value of I is equal to 1. So in this case, in case of non-electrolyte, the when I is equal to 1, it means thus I is equal to normal molar mass divided by abnormal molar mass, and here I is equal to 1. So we can see here normal molar mass is equal to abnormal molar mass. It means for the solute which are non-electrolyte, I is equal to 1, and if I is equal to 1, the normal molar mass is equal to abnormal. It means there is no abnormality in molar mass is observed. And same in case of colligative properties, calculated colligative properties, it means the colligative property which is calculated theoretically with the help of formula, that will be same to the observed colligative property, means which is determined experimentally. So for I is equal to 1, these there is no abnormality in molar mass, and also the observed colligative property is same to that of the calculated colligative properties. So thus we have we have calculated the value of I in different conditions. Now we will use I to calculate the molar mass and solve the numericals. If you liked this video, then press the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe the channel. Thank you.